Befriending the Body Scan, a special election day meditation. And I like to say that part of befriending the body is starting to use your body to kind of feel your way back to the moment. And so you'll often hear me say that one of the ways to do that is to find the spaces between your thoughts, between our breath, and now spaces in our body. There are spaces in our body that are trying to tell us stuff, and often we override them. And so today I just want to keep it as simple as possible. I would love it if you guys would take this meditation in Shavasana. Usually, sometimes, obviously, I'm going to sit up, but if you want to take this laying down in your bed, it's a perfect time to kind of scan the body slowly and kind of get a feeling for what's there. And my voice will be kind of like the mantra from yesterday. My voice will be our anchor. So anytime you drift off, or if you fall asleep and then all of a sudden wake up and you hear my voice, whatever body part I'm on, just try to dial into that a little bit more clearly. And then what I thought I would do is end the meditation much in the same way I did yesterday, from one of my teachers, Deepak Chopra's The Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire. So closing with our moksha, I am emotionally free, focusing on our sutra statements, kind of stitching these and sewing these intentions into the fabric of our being, into our soul, so we can bring a little bit more calm and peace into this election day. And then, obviously, if you haven't voted, I'm going to tell you to get out there and vote. And Total Transformation Tuesday means if you're not fully transformed by the end of the meditation, then I'm clearly doing this wrong. All right? So let's get started. So I want you to find that comfortable position. So go ahead, get comfortable. If you're cold, put a blanket on. Just get as comfortable. I want you, this more like a snug meditation. So you go ahead, lay down. And before we even take our first breaths in, I want to practice just bringing to our awareness the mantra for the next few days, for this week. I want you to embrace uncertainty. One of my teachers, Dr. David Simon from the Chopra Center, he passed away years ago, used to say to us all the time to embrace uncertainty and expand happiness. And so I feel we can do that today. In fact, I was reading a quote yesterday on Insight Timer's Instagram page by the Buddha, something to the effect of, to be in this moment, really be in this moment, because that's all we have. This is it. So there's no sense worrying about what's going to happen later, because all we have is right now. So let's try to go with the flow, learn to surf, all those other great mantras that we have. We'll take our first deep breath in through the nose. Really let it fill up your lungs. I want you to hold it when you get to capacity. Go ahead, force all that air out of the mouth. I want you to push, force, control. This is the only time we're going to control this meditation. We'll do it again. A deep breath in through the nose. I want you to force that air in. Hold it. And let it go through the mouth. Now take one more deep breath in. And gently exhale through the nose. And then let your breath settle back. Turn your attention right now to that awareness that you're breathing. So you'll often hear me say that there's seeing and the awareness of what we're seeing. There's hearing and the awareness of what it is you're hearing. And there's also breathing and the awareness that you're breathing. So we're just turning our attention to the awareness that we're doing anything. And we're just trying to cultivate that moment-to-moment awareness. And as we settle in, we're going to use the breath in a different way today. We're going to use it to scan the body, release any tension that we're carrying around, and see if we can't get back to neutral to start our day. So in order to do that, sometimes when I teach the kids, I like to say, shine a flashlight of an awareness all over different regions of the body. And other times I can just have you imagine, if you like, that as you gently breathe in on that next inhale, I want you to imagine a kind of a glowing golden light coming into the nose. And then imagine as you begin to exhale that you can send it down and let it wash down the neck, the shoulders, the torso. Send it all the way down the hips, the legs, calves, all the way to our feet. And so without moving them, let's just bring our energy down to the feet. I want to ground our energy down right now and notice what's there. So without moving the feet, do you notice any tingling, any vibrational quality? Is there a temperature? Is it warm, cool? Can you feel the blanket over the feet? Or maybe the socks or shoes? You may have a generalized awareness of both feet. Maybe one is stronger than the other. Certainly for me, I could always feel the right foot more than the left, and I thought something might be wrong with me. And it takes a while to dial into these areas that we're not accustomed to focusing on. So not having any awareness in one foot over the other is still technically awareness, I like to say. So bringing our attention to our feet on the next inhale. And as you gently exhale, I want you to silently think to yourself the words letting go. And we will. We'll let go and move up a little bit higher to include the ankles, the shins, the calves, the knees. Again, noticing what's there. Does it feel tight over the knees? Can you feel the fabric of your clothing? Is there a temperature to the shin bones, or maybe you feel the air on the shin? Can you bring some awareness deep within the calf muscles? Or just simply ask yourself, what is here? That's really the definition of mindfulness. It's the awareness that arises from paying attention in a particular way, on purpose. Paying attention in this moment. And then practicing non-judgment, trying not to judge whether we feel something or not, whether it's the right feeling or not. So almost imagining you can breathe in from your feet and sending that energy up all the way to your knees. We'll breathe in on the next inhale, sending that energy up, and as you gently exhale, I want you to think the words dissolve. Let's dissolve any of that physical stress as we move up a little bit higher to include the quads, the hamstrings, the hips. And you may notice immediately, do the hips feel tight? Can you feel the air on the quads? Do the quads feel tight? Can you feel one over the other? At the very least, you should be able to feel some pressure or temperature or some type of pressure between the backs of the legs and the mat, the ground, the bed, the seat. Do they feel heavy, light? So bringing your awareness to what's here on the next inhale. As you gently exhale, I want you to silently think the words soften. And so we'll practice letting go of that area, moving up our attention a little bit higher to include the lower part of the back, the abdomen, the stomach area. So as you gently breathe in, you'll feel that sense of expansion. You'll feel the pressure, or sometimes if you're laying down, you can feel the space between the lower back and the mat. So as you breathe in, I want you to notice that expansion. As you breathe out, just thinking the words soften. And then bringing our awareness up a little bit higher. Now we'll include the chest, maybe the backs of the shoulders, the upper part of the back. Gently breathe in, you'll notice, particularly if you're sitting, the torso will lengthen, the shoulders may rise a little bit on the inhale, the chest may rise, and that sense of letting go on the exhale. Notice how the body really wants to tap into that relaxation quality. And it's our job to allow it. Again, a lot of these times we override it. We think we shouldn't relax. So we have to practice relaxing. And so what do you notice here in the upper chest, upper shoulders? Does it feel tight? Is there any sense of constriction? I tend to carry a lot of my physical stress here. So consciously just bringing my attention to it, and on each exhale, just thinking the words letting go has a way of kind of dissolving some of that stress that I have in there. It reminds me to embrace the uncertainty of this moment, to give in a little bit instead of fighting it all the time. And each exhale is an opportunity to let go. So if you like, on the next inhale, again, imagine that glowing light coming back into the nose. And this time you're going to send it down, softening around the jaw, the neck, and let it wash down the shoulders. And as it does, send it down both arms. And let's bring our energy, let's ground it in the hands. You might notice some tingling. Again, that vibrational quality. Feel the backs of the hands. Do they feel warm, cool? The fingernails. And sometimes I play around with the spaces between each finger and see if there's an awareness there. I like to say it's that awareness in those spaces that knows that we don't just end at the boundary of our skin, that we are one, that we interact with each other We enter beings. Sometimes we live in this illusion that we're separate because of our thinking mind. We're constantly thinking and thinking and thinking. So we practice letting go, embrace uncertainty. Notice if the forearms feel tight. On the exhale, thinking the word dissolve. Feel the arms pull down on the shoulders a little bit. On the exhale, you can think soften. And then circling back to the shoulders, maybe the neck. Just feeling what's there. Notice the shoulders drop. Notice it open, that tension dissolve. Notice there's a little bit more flexibility in the body, then there's a little bit more flexibility in the mind. Particularly when it comes to choice making. We're not so constricted, we can open. You can notice the jaw. And here, because I tend to grind my teeth at night, I will introduce little attitudes of mindfulness. I will kind of move the jaw around, manually soften it, just to remind myself that I'm clenching. But I still breathe into it, softening on the exhales. You can notice the ears. Is there a temperature here? And then just taking a moment, noticing all the sounds in your environment right now, whether it's my voice, the singing bowls, something in your own external environment. And then seeing if you can take all of that energy and information, take it all the way into the inner ears. Can you feel the air on your face, your chin, your cheeks, forehead? Can you soften around the eyebrows? And just notice how the eyes feel. Do they feel warm? Cool? Do the eyelids feel heavy? Is there a temperature there? And what about the back of the head? Can you feel the back of the head? Can you feel maybe the pressure between the back of the head and the pillow or the mat? Or maybe you can feel the very top of your head. The very top of the head. If you like, imagine you have a hole about the size of a quarter. And much like a whale or a dolphin can take in air from the top, we'll use the breath now to cleanse it, to release any last bits of physical stress we're carrying in the body. And we do that by imagining that we can pull in the air and we can soften as we do. We pull it in from the very top of the head. We let it wash down the jaw, the neck, the shoulders. And as you start to exhale, kind of like a wave that recedes back into the ocean. I want you to imagine that as that wave is receding, it's pulling out little bits of physical stress all the way down your legs, out the tips of your toes. And then see if you can turn your attention to that awareness of your body as a whole, just laying here, sitting here, floating. Embracing the uncertainty of this moment. Being okay with the fact that this moment is happening the way it is, because it's happening. So we don't need to fight it. There's nowhere to go right now. So yesterday we worked with our mantra-based practice. The mantra was moksha. And we use the mantra for its vibrational quality only. But moksha does have a meaning in Sanskrit. It loosely translates to I am emotionally free. And so as you sit or lay here, I want to read some of the principles, some of the sutra statements that we use when we're dealing with moksha. So if you like, you can imagine right now that you are without physical form, just a field of awareness everywhere at all times. Moksha. Imagine that you have left behind forever any sense of anger or resentment. Moksha. Imagine that you are free from blaming, free from feeling blame and guilt. Moksha. Imagine that you are never drawn into melodrama or hysteria. Moksha. Imagine that you can choose any emotional feeling or experience. Moksha. Imagine that you can set any goal you want to achieve anything you want to achieve. Moksha. Imagine that you are free from your negative, habitual, repetitive compulsions and patterns of behavior. Moksha. Imagine that you are free from any addictions. Moksha. Imagine that you never participate in any gossip. Moksha. Imagine that you are free to respond at the highest level, no matter what the situation is or how anyone else is behaving. Moksha. And imagine there are no limits to what you can manifest. Moksha. And imagine you can see these infinite possibilities at all times. Moksha. eyes still closed, we let go of our practice and just rest. Okay, we can start to deepen our awareness back into our rooms. You can start to gently move around. If you took the meditation in Shavasana, gently roll to one side of the bed, the mat, wherever, noticing the muscles that contract and expand as you make your way back to a seated position. And when it's comfortable, go ahead, gently open your eyes. Moksha. I am emotionally free.